What are you doing with it?
Getting myself some distance so I can give it a good throw.
That makes sense, I guess.
Ah! Oh, did I hit you? I gotta make an airplane. All right, guys, here we are to talk about the movie Revenge of the Red Baron. (1994's) Revenge of the Red Baron. Lee, had you seen it before?
I'm not sure I've seen it even after watching it. No.
This is it's not the first, but it may be the first like starring role of Tobey Maguire in a movie. You got Mickey Rooney. You got some notable people along the way here.
Like a few character actors involved there too. As I remember looking up and being like, I don't know what Mickey Rooney looks like apparently, because I had no idea that was him. That's great. And my usual joke is I love Tobey Maguire in The Lord of the Rings. So I was super enthusiastic once I realized who the fuck was in this, to be like, oh, this is very strange movie.
It is a very strange movie because it's almost marketed as a kids movie, and the scoring is that of a children's movie, but the plot is not. So the general elevator pitch of the movie is, the Red Baron is shot down by this young 18-year-old kid. 70 years later, he has a son and a grandson, and they come to visit, and the pieces of the Red Baron's plane were made into a model airplane, which is now invigorated with the essence of the original Red Baron, and it wants to kill his whole lineage.
Yeah.
Does that kind of give you the idea?
The plot is like, it's like Chucky, but what if it was a plane?
Yeah, what if it was a plane and like a marionette?
Yeah, right. What if Chucky had what if Chucky was tiny and had a unusually large remote-controlled plane with a gun on it?
Oh yes.
No,
it is so much more ridiculous than you could possibly imagine it to be.
Yeah.
It is so 90s. I highly recommend this movie.
Oh God, okay. I think it's very bad as well.
No, it's not good.
A lot of it's very slow. I do think if you're a fan, like we are, of like movies, right? If you've already seen all the normal movies, and you're like, wait, Tobey Maguire was in a movie with like a fucking fly, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, then you should watch this because it doesn't make any sense.
Oh no,
and it's crazy.
It reminds me so much of like a full moon movie. Like it's such a ridiculous thing. We're like, what is this thing?
Yes,
because it's like marketed as it's like family adventure horror, and like people are dying. There's it is in no way a family movie.
Yes, quite the adventure indeed. Like I said, it's not good, but I guess watch it just so you can see for yourself what the F this movie is about.
Oh yeah, if you like weird, outlandish movies, this is the one for you. So if you've seen it or don't care, falls over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of Revenge of the Red Baron. And I have to say, it's not a good movie. I'm not gonna sit here and try to act like this is a good movie, but it is a ridiculous movie.
Yeah, I think we should stress,
it has lots of elements there. It's like the Ginger Dead Man or Thanksgiving, but like with the vein of like a kid's movie.
But like made so long ago that like 20 minutes in, I shouted at my television. I shouted out loud, what is this? What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck?
What was happening at that mark? Do you remember?
They're just like fucking talking or something still, because it opens the coldest open of
in
all.
Like 1918,
and the dog fighting with the real Red Baron, right? Which is completely wrong. This has to happen. This has to be like a nightmare that like Grandpa has after, because it cuts from the dogfight to the kid, right? This makes no fucking sense as like a movie. Maybe not directly, but like then you go over to the kid and it's like, you're being bad at school. You have to go be with your grandpa.
We decided that you should spend that week with him and Grandpa up in the country.
And then it's like fucking an hour, it feels like, before they, there's even planes or anything. And you're just like, what the fuck is happening? It feels so slow and awful. Again, if you just like rearrange some of those parts, it'd be better, not good, but like better.
There are slow parts for sure. I think they are enhanced by the fact that you have Mickey Rooney and Tobey Maguire, and you're like, why are you even in this movie? And then you realize like, oh, Toby, this was your like first shit. So like you didn't have options, whatever. But he still looks like Tobey Maguire. Like his head didn't change much in his whole life, and the expressions he makes are the same ones Spider-Man makes.
The Red Baron is alive.
You're on drugs or something, is that it?
There's a fucking, I was going to say this exact thing. 'Cause there's a face, it's like upset Spider-Man, where he's like,
Yeah.
He's making this like weird face. He makes the exact, and I'm like, you're 12 and you're making the same fucking face that you're gonna make later. It's great. So we
I didn't
need that
look
as a
how
little
old he
meme.
was.
I made up 12 because
maybe?
he's one of those people who looks the same for 40 years, but you know.
Well, I was trying to decipher through math. I was like, give me more numbers, because I'm like 1918. What year did this movie take place? How old is the grandfather? What the hell happened here?
Don't even.
So like the
please,
grandfather
please.
shoots down the Red Baron, which is a feat in itself. But then lightning strikes him, I guess, locking his soul in limbo where like Kevin Sorbo's enemies are or something. And if you've seen Lightning Strike. And then like he goes and collects the pieces of his plane and then builds a scale model out of his plane. That's such a weird detail. That's like, why would you do that?
Wait, and there's a little Red Baron in it to begin with, right? Or
Yeah,
that gets,
he puts a little.
He makes a
Red
Baron?
model. A little puppet of a Red Baron guy.
Yeah. No, that's crazy, but like that's one of the only parts that makes sense. Is like I melted down something, but like honestly, this movie like that doesn't come up in a way that stands out from anything else. Like they reveal that he melted down the parts of the Red Baron. Like, yeah, the shrapnel in my ass, I melted it down and made a plane out of it, or some fucking stupid.
Yeah, I
just
just put that in there.
He just says it the same way they say, like, you gotta clean up your chores. Or something. Like it's just delivered the same way as everything else. There's no specific. You don't see him with like the little like
smelting pot
metal
or-
cauldron and like the fucking thing on, going like, that's right, bitch, I'm gonna make a thing out of you.
It's just
like, there's
thinking
nothing.
about that logistically.
Yeah.
You are in France at war. Got to scoop up these pieces, send back just this wreckage to my hometown, where I'm eventually going to be. That house is amazing. It's this beautiful house.
He fucking writes his home address, puts 100 stamps on, and says, "Government, please don't look," and just mails the Red Baron's black box back to California.
But then there's this weird mixture of reality and like magic, because like. He had to potentially have installed an actual working gun on this thing, because the guy goes, bullets.
Bullets. Dankeschön.
These would be useful, because he wasn't firing until he found bullets.
Giant bullets.
So he
for
potentially
him.
had a working gun, but then later he drops mustard gas, and I'm like, well, he didn't find that.
Special delivery.
Let's get out of here.
Was that part of the model? Did you put mustard gas in the thing? So like he has magic, and he's able to like do flight things that don't make any sense. Like when he comes out of the chimney, I was dying.
Yeah.
Because he can't even fit in the chimney, and he somehow flew straight down, made a right angle turn out, and then it's almost like a rape scene. He's like pinned the mother down
Where is Jimmy?
with his plane, and she's like, "Oh, get off me, Red Baron!"
Please no, Red Baron.
And
Not
his
like
voice,
this.
His voice is so funny.
Yeah.
Like hair, whatever, something.
I'm going to do this thing.
Your grandfather was lucky.
Look my ass.
Yeah, and like there's some great close-ups of him talking and the weird eyes moving and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
and it's creepy or whatever.
We meet again, Herr Spencer.
But you know, like I think we're underselling his like actual gun, because he actually shoots actual people with the actual
Oh yes,
gun.
he
People-
murders innocents.
People die.
Lots of people
There's
for this
death.
children's movie.
Ooh, it's an ugly old thing.
Beauty is in the gun sights of the beholder.
Well, but like the movie doesn't notice. The movie still treats it like this movie would have been the perfect movie for like everybody ducks and then pots explode behind them.
Dun, 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 dun. Like that.
He must hate cans.
He hates these cans!
Like just this weird like how are they always
It
getting
electrocutes
away?
his father to death.
Your son's behavior is shocking.
And frames him for the murder.
Yes.
It's amazing. But in the same movie, at its like penultimate climax, Grandpa connects the power lines and then just gets like soot on his face and goes, "Woo!" and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like it is also a cartoon where like no one really dies, but like they're still wanted for murder, on the run from the cops, and locked up in an insane asylum.
Like doctors, orderlies.
Come on, man, get up.
Police. It kills a lot of people.
It's like that scene in the Terminator where he's got all the cops.
Yeah.
It's like casualties. Only it says like 100. Yeah, it's great.
There's a fantastic bit where it's like riding directly above a police a cruiser.
Taking fire. Request backup immediately.
And it's shooting, and the cop's like, they're shooting! Because it like hears the shots, and it's like up there just shooting. And then like the most insane car flips happen where like two cars are completely destroyed in this like nothing garbage movie. And like it's so over the top and amazing. And in a movie where people are dying and there's explosions, like they fend off the Red Baron by going like, dunk, dunk, popping the trunk. He's like, ah! And he flies away.
Yes.
It's so hammy
and they
that
go like,
it's fantastic. Oh, I love it. Because like, yes, and you mentioned like the Terminator, like escaping from the insane asylum is almost like the Terminator's mission where like orderlies are dying, these are happening, I must escape, blah, blah, blah.
No, because Tobey Maguire, at that point, having committed no crime, then the guy goes to stun gun him and he like breaks his wrist exactly like him. It's hilarious. He's just like, no, fuck you, and like gets him. It's crazy.
And that's, what's his name, Michael McDonald?
Oh, that guy?
Yeah, he's from Mad TV. He played Stewart and a bunch of other famous characters.
That's him. Okay.
You like to be called Jim or Jimmy?
Either one.
I think I'm gonna call you Jimmy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that guy looks familiar, and I'm like, is he the live-action Red Baron guy? And I'm like, no, because then this movie was all a dream.
Well, Tobey Maguire was
insane.
the original grandfather, right?
It's over, Baron! It's never over, Herr Spencer.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure in all the flashbacks it is Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
In the first one, I like thought it was him, but the picture is like kind of shitty and it's smaller. But in the second one, it gets a little closer. I'm like pretty sure I was right. I think that's him. Well, I don't think he's credited as him though.
In the second one, it's Tobey Maguire because they're in the Phantom Zone fighting or whatever.
Watch that first step, Jimmy.
In my version of this movie, Tobey Maguire is crazy. He did murder his father, and he's in the insane asylum. He's getting electroshock therapy, and the doctor guy does play the Red Baron, and that's him playing out Sucker Punch style.
Ooh.
His whole plotting
I don't
and like
hate
escape.
that. I don't hate that.
Right?
That's not what it is, but I don't hate that.
We always have to say that. It's like, that's a good idea. Did you just remember that? I made it up. It's not in the movie.
This movie doesn't care about anything like logistically happening. My favorite is like when he happens upon his grandfather for like almost like the first time. The grandfather's like out there like playing with the planes. This is our first time we see the planes, and he's flying the like British Zero looking plane or whatever it was, and like he stops. He's talking to the grandson, but you still hear like because the second plane is just flying with nobody on the controls.
Here, try this.
Oh, like that's not how planes work. You can't just let them just fly in like holding patterns.
There's a few of that where they must go like autopilot and then it just like stays in the air. Yes.
Like a helicopter maybe could do that.
A drone.
Absolutely ridiculous. But I love all that shit.
And like the climax is he doesn't really trick him, but he flies into power lines, right? And
then he keeps flying a little closer and a little closer. I'm like, that guy's an actual pilot. You're a jerk off with a remote control.
He's a possessed demonic toy.
Well, we have a little bit of backstory. We see him playing video games in his room real quick. He's like, he's a master of the controls. And his room is fucking amazing.
He's the wizard.
It's one of the most amazing set rooms I've ever seen where like it's like spray painted and crazy. And you're like, what is this room?
No, I was like, that's your problem with your kid is you've let him, decorate his room like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when they go into like the underbelly.
Yeah, it looks like the lair.
And it's like, hey, what's going on? Yeah. No, but like
it's so 90s.
What I was getting to was like he flies into power lines. Grandpa does the thing. Then there's like a teaser where like there's a little parachute.
Yes.
Like he jumped out, but like it all bursts into flames. He's like clearly hasn't bailed out when he's in the thing.
Nothing's over.
It's very funny.
He's magic.
I know
he probably got like sucked into a spark and popped out another spark. That's what he does. He teleports through electricity.
All right. Electric towers and stuff. Yeah.
I would love nothing more than in the year 2021 to announce you're making a sequel to this, and it's Tobey in his 40s now.
Yes.
And he's like, I think I heard the puppet. And his wife's like, what are you talking about? When I was younger, I fought a puppet with my grandfather.
I fought with my grandfather.
It killed my father.
Oh, fuck. I'm embarrassed that I was like, when did Mickey Rooney die? He's dead, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think he's long dead.
Like 20 years ago, because he was very old in this. No,
I don't think 20 years ago, because he was in that Night at the Museum movie with Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, well, okay. With Ben Stiller and those ones?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's whatever, like 10, 15 years ago or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm an old man. But yeah, I was going to say, you'd have to make it like Grandpa's dead and like they're auctioning off the things.
Oh.
And then like, it's like, come on, whatever, history. And he's like, I don't want that thing. But then like, it's at their house. And like, what? And then it's the whole plot. And it's like old Tobey Maguire.
No, it's he's finally died. He like dies right before it happens. You're like, how old was your grandfather? 123.
130. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Because he was supposed to be 93 in this.
Yeah, like I say, like the years don't line up for that. But there's something cooking there.
They don't care about things lining up though, so we could just fuck it. Who gives a shit?
But yeah, I love the idea of a sequel where it's that person all grown up.
Yeah.
We have to go back to the 100-acre wood. It's your kids.
I love the grandfather's house. That kitchen in particular. I'm like, this is a stage play. Like, what is this kitchen? It has this crazy look. Like the window is a light box.
Yeah.
And like it's like an unnatural color blue and this crazy like wallpaper. Like I would love that to be my kitchen. So it's such a like I'm like, yep, we're on a set. This is a sitcom. We're doing it.
It's got the vibe that those older movies would have, where it felt like a sitcom, which is fake. It doesn't have all four walls.
Yeah.
But it's like somehow brought to life, like Roger Rabbit would magically turn into like a real house, and you're like, "There's a house."
Well, I think it's because like they're super freshly painted, and it's usually colors you never would have seen, and there's no life or wear anywhere in it, so it just pops so hard. Like there's no clutter, there's no nothing. It's just pristine blue ass kitchen.
You know, Mom never said one bad thing about you. I wonder why. What?
So the reason Toby goes to see his father in the first place is because he's suspended from school. And this is my favorite thing. He gets a week suspension from school for putting a teacher in traction.
He pushed me first.
I'd like to believe you, but since Mr. Pilata is a teacher and he's the one in traction, most people believe him.
That's not like, oh, he cursed at him, or he didn't do his homework, or he got into a fight with a kid at school. He put a teacher in the hospital.
We don't know.
Tobey Maguire.
Maybe the teacher was very old and had like bonitis or something. And
he still did it. It wouldn't matter what the causation is.
He's a minor. He can't be charged as an adult murderer yet.
He could be expelled.
Absolutely. No, that's the whole thing too, is that Tobey Maguire's a badass motherfucker. He's a delinquent, and this is like part of his reform and bonding with his grandfather. That's the whole like premise here, which is bonkers.
A series of chores for him.
Well, because you're like, that's not Tobey Maguire. The whole time I'm like, who is this? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem like a bad kid at all.
Yeah.
Nothing that he does really matches the behavior they say he has or the room he lives in. You're like, what?
Yeah, it should have been like a huge misunderstanding.
Yeah, because he's a really nice kid to his grandfather. He's a dick to those that are a dick to him, like the neighbor or the dad.
Why don't you mind your own business, you decrepit piece of shit?
But that all seems to make sense.
That would have been so much better if he did steal his grandpa's pills to sell them at school, and he gets kicked out of school for selling the pills. That's this whole thing. That doesn't make sense.
Heart pills?
Yeah.
The kids love heart pills.
He doesn't know what they are. All the kids start getting boners or whatever.
I don't think they even had Viagra in '94.
Nitro opens your vessels or something. I don't know.
There's a weird mention of Nitro when they're picking up the grandfather for having a heart attack, and they have like a casual conversation.
It's super casual.
What is this?
Yes.
Yeah, it was probably Nitro.
Yeah.
Hey, remember those cartoons where the mouse would swallow nitroglycerin and try to make himself blow up? It's so medically inaccurate.
You're right.
Which is meant to be in like a kid's movie, like like we're saying, where like adults aren't taking it seriously, and it's all up to the kids. We have to save the rec center, right? But no, there's a murderous toy flying around.
It's super strange. There's like a million guns in this house. They're just like all left loaded in the gun cabinets.
Like it's a SWAT team where you just go and grab one and stuff. Yeah.
There was a couple funny lines in this movie. Mostly we just put a little montage of the funny lines from the puppet because those are pretty funny.
Why are you so upset? I just saved you $1.50 on your next Father's Day car. And your flight's been canceled. You shoot like a Fraulein.
Hello, baby.
My God, don't you have gun control in this country?
The price of gas just burns me up.
But like, barring saying all the funny things that the puppet says, the grandfather is in the hospital and a nurse comes in to wake him up. She's like, wake up, it's time to take your sleeping pills.
Mr. Spencer, wake up. It's time for your sleeping pill.
This nurse is such a bitch of the whole movie.
She's weirdly a bitch, right?
Yeah.
Because she's acting like he's like a problem patient. But what does he do?
She like wishes him death at one point.
No, I thought Mickey Rooney was good in this, and he like projects that like, I'm an old man, I don't know. Like it starts off spicy when like the dad comes up like, oh, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, he asked me to do this. And he's like, oh, I didn't know such thing.
I did not ask you to cut him down.
What do you mean? You just asked me to cut them down.
I did no such thing.
This like crotchety old man. You're like, what? And he's like, dude, like, what are you doing?
Well, you can see that because like the dad's a control freak.
Yeah,
and the dad like it's clearly the grandfather's house, but the dad's like, this is my house. I run this place. Fuck you. We do what we want. And I'm sure he hung those planes up with like, fuck you, old man. You're not playing this anymore.
Let's get one thing straight, okay? This is my house, and in my house we play by my rules. You understand?
These are props now.
Yeah.
Oh, cut that down for me, quick. They saw it. Fuck it. It was him. This kid's a fucking delinquent. Get him.
Yeah.
And I like that. I don't know that I like the grandfather selling him out though. I'm like oh no, that was him. Like he's in there for lying and causing trouble. Why add to his fucking case?
The kid has a long life for to like move on beyond it.
Yeah.
If the dad gets hit with something,
he's fucked for life.
He's over, right? But I think I agree with you. Like the core of what you're saying is that the dad deserved to die.
The dad, anyone who like sunbathes in the pool with a shower cap, deserves to die.
They were so close. He should have had the white nose, and that would have been like a 10 out of 10. Where I'm like,
with
yes,
those like little like
you deserve
those
to
glasses that just cover your eyeballs.
Oh, the little like tanning buns.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. That alone might have killed him just from the cringe.
He honestly deserved to die just because who puts a bug zapper on the ground, and who puts it on the ground like in the splash radius of the pool?
No, like the minute he was like, I'm getting eaten alive out here, pass the bug zapper. It's like, this like giant thing. I'm like, I wonder what's gonna happen now. Yeah, it was very funny.
I did still think it was surprising that he died though, because at that point no one had died yet. So
No,
you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck?
And I expected what happens at the end, where he's just covered in soot.
Yeah, where he'd be like, and then maybe blame the kid, like, why'd you do that? I didn't do that.
Right? Where like you see his skeleton flashing, but then his like hair thing just catches on fire, and he's like, God damn it, Bobby, what are you doing? And he's just doing that thing, and he's fine.
But no, he is electrocuted to death.
They are like loading his corpse in a fucking body bag and taking it away. Right? He is like done. He is cooked. The pool is full of stew. It is awful.
No, it was jarring, and that is the first of many deaths at this puppet's hands.
Yeah.
And I think that alone is something that I'm like, nope, watch the movie just for that kind of crazy shit, because you would never expect this like Buena Vista Entertainment movie to be like, no, it's massacring parents.
No, with Mickey Rooney and everything.
Yeah,
no. And like you said too, like the mom being terrorized by it the way she is, and then the whole journey that they take.
I like the mom a lot.
It's very dark.
I thought that in the beginning I was worried it wasn't going to be good, but I think everything from once she knows there's a puppet on, pretty good stuff with her.
I like that she flips and she's not like, oh, you're crazy or something. Mm-hmm. She wants to believe her son anyway. But that cop is great.
He's from that '70s show. He's Bob.
He's another character actor guy that's from a lot of things or whatever. Yeah. He's very good because he's a complete shit heel, and he's like, your son's a murderer. I'm sorry to tell you. And they're like, oh, we have all the evidence that we need, ma'am.
I found these in the boy's jacket. Looks like heart medication.
Oh. I think we have enough.
He has a great line where she's like talking about oh, his grandfather's rather old. Like we're saying how he forgot to take his pills.
Yeah.
Grandfathers often are. Ha ha ha.
He's old.
Grandfathers often are.
And like this fucking shit-eating laugh.
Yeah. No, but like that's honestly really funny to me. It's like really good for the cop to be like, oh, people are just like idiots, and I'll just make a joke like this, and then they'll be on my side and they'll help me with the case. But he's just like so transparently shitty.
Oh yeah, he puts his leg on her thigh at one point. Like you hate him the whole time.
Like, no.
He does like a weird thing where he's like, and like a guy takes his coat off him. I'm like, who are you, king shit on this thing?
Yeah, right. He's like the
Yeah.
The neighbor gets it, right?
The neighbor's famous as fuck.
Who is he?
That guy is like a 1950s actor or something. Like I've seen that guy a whole bunch.
Taking out the garbage, huh?
You never miss a trick, do you, Lou?
Hey, listen, Rich, can I borrow your weed whacker?
And I don't know his name. He is before me. I'm sure someone's writing in the comments, you moron, you don't know.
Dare you not know about Vincent McGillicuddy?
I was going to say Dick McKnuckles.
He's the guy from Gremlins who's like, no. China. I'm joking. It's not him at all.
You gotta watch out for the foreigners because they plant gremlins in their machinery.
More of he inspired Bewitched or something shit like that. I don't know.
He was on 2 episodes of The Twilight Zone.
But that guy, famous as fuck.
Yeah, he shows up being shitty, right? Adults are shitty.
And I like everything he brings to the table. He plays that character nicely. Yeah. I like his bullshit of him returning the weed.
It's the middle of the night and I have to return a weed whacker.
That is to a dead person and a person that's in a hospital and someone who's in jail.
Oh, don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Jesus, Jimmy, put the gun down, please.
What do you want? I was just returning this. I didn't think you were here. I thought they took you away.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, you're here? I just wanted the credit for trying.
I just wanted to show up with the weed whacker. And that was so stupid and hilarious too, where it's because he's just turn that thing off. It's not on. And the fucking, I'm like, it sounds, it's like the same audio file. It's exactly the same fucking thing. It's hilarious.
And will you turn that thing off? It is off.
Howdy, neighbor.
What the?
It's probably the same engine, honestly.
It's really, it's made me laugh very much.
The Red Baron, he's not gonna stop until every Spencer is dead. You and your dad are in big danger.
The dad has a fucking line that's priceless, where he's like, he realizes the Baron has escaped through the trunk, but he thinks that someone has vandalized his garage, and he goes to the son, you've done a vandalism before, right? Why do they do that?
You've done vandalism, haven't you? Tell me, why do people do it?
I don't know.
Does he say it that way? That's great.
Yeah. I think he literally says, you've done a vandalism.
You did a hate crime. What is it like? Yes, no, it's hilarious, and it's so obvious what has happened. And is the Baron back in the trunk? Why doesn't he say oh, they stole the plane?
No, he wasn't in the trunk anymore. I don't think.
They didn't steal anything. They just popped the lock on the trunk, and they broke the window.
Right? So shouldn't he have said, oh, obviously the trunk was stolen, whatever was in the trunk must have been stolen. They just forgot about it or something? It's
I guess.
Weird.
But he also wanted that in the garbage anyway, so I don't think he gave a shit about it.
It's very funny to me, though, that, they leave that out and there's no, whatever. But yes, him, with the gun, pointing a loaded gun seemingly at his son and, revealing that he has these twisted, perverted desires to, murder a human being for coming near his stuff.
Oh, man, I'd like to have caught him in the act. Could have blown him away. Pleaded self-defense.
What might be the only shot of the puppet not in the plane, where the mom's on the phone and it's repairing the wing in the background. I'm like, okay, they got some stop motion-y creepy stuff going on.
I thought you were saying when she was holding him and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's just after that, but yeah.
Right. Well, it's part of the same.
He does reveal himself, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Once I guess his shit's gotten going.
Aren't you going to answer it?
There's no real reason not to, because no one can hurt him, it seems.
No, that's where it's less like a not exactly Chucky, but you know what I mean when I say that, where there's not this long Tobey does say, it was the puppet, I swear. It's oh, it's so sad. He's gone crazy.
The Baron killed Dad. He wants to kill us all.
Jimmy, for God's sake, don't say anything else.
Right, we have that, but there's not that weird moment where while the mom is not looking and the puppet moves and then he goes, he just moved, and it's listen, I'm tired of your crazy shit, stop it or whatever. But he's kind of too old to pull that off, right? So it's a little, it doesn't really fit, shockingly enough, this murderous Red Baron puppet, but whatever, right? I see what they were going for.
I love that the puppet in the plane and then when it cuts to the puppet are different puppets.
It is, right?
It's a much larger puppet with definition, and it does things. I think that's fantastic, because I don't know why, and maybe they tried to make him look alike and they just couldn't, because they're drastically different.
I was gonna say, I thought his head was relatively smaller when he was, in her hand, right? The proportions are all different. Yeah, it's weird.
If you behave, eventually they let you out. Then you can work here. That's what happened to me.
Do you like how the doctor is pretty much just there to bait him into violence, so he can send him to jail forever or something?
You gonna get angry at me? Try to hurt me and blame it on one of your toys, maybe?
Why don't you just shut up?
What are you gonna do, wrap a slinky around my neck, maybe?
Why don't you just shut the hell up, man?
Oh no, like there's a whole interesting, like, not really, but like in this movie where, yeah, the cops are just like instantly like, you're guilty and I know it, I don't want to hear anything else. And then when he goes in for like the interrogation, he's using like every technique that they warn you about on the internet, where it's like, you know, like, don't worry, this is just between you and me. Click, like recording, all this shit, and then says, you know, like he's about to like leave the room, but and he has to like stop him to be like, if you confess it, it'll be better for you. Like, just to like shove that last thing in there, trying to make him confess. It's great.
They'll go easy on you if you just confess, Jimmy. You're a minor. You could be out of here in 11 years.
I didn't even do anything wrong, you asshole.
Well, then, like, he, like, calls him all these names or whatever, like, here's the keys to leave, blah, 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 get out of here, and, like, then tries to fucking taser him and shit.
Oh, at the end, yeah, he's trying to, like, do his
Because he even says, like, you'll be in jail for the rest of your life or something. Like, he, like, wants it. I'm like, is he getting commissions? Is this that privatized prison stuff I hear about?
It's the Red Baron to prison pipeline that we hear so much about.
Did you recognize this, like, orderly guard?
Got milk guy.
Yep.
Was it?
No.
Okay.
Let me get some milk.
No! Why'd you say yep?
Wanted you to have a feeling.
I felt really good.
I know. I remember him from the Ellen show. Okay. He's in a lot of things.
Different thing?
I think he was in a lot of like Disney TV shows too, but...
Yeah. He looked familiar. I knew he wasn't Sean Whalen. I was just saying he has that look.
He has a look.
But he's like a ginger, right? He's more,
yes.
Yeah. No, I've seen that guy before.
Yeah. So when he died, I was like, oh, we're killing everybody.
Did you miss me, Jimmy? I hope miss you.
No, at a certain point, it's like people who aren't even like a part of the lineage or the revenge are just like getting killed, and you're kind of like,
Hey, Baron! Here I come!
There's a reporter covering the death of the father. It's the most like brutal way you could possibly cover it. He like goes into like gory details about how he died, and like I don't know if that's
smoldering corpse of Mr. Jeffrey whoever. Yeah.
I don't know if that's how the father sees that his son died too. Like I think he's like in there for the first time. He hears this horrible reporting about how he died, like a joke reporting about like how you would report it. Like this is they're not even trying to be official reporting stuff.
The grotesquely charred, bloated carcass of Richard Spencer was discovered by a neighbor who was quoted as saying, "The smell was like that of any other barbecue. Only the meat was different."
Oh, and then he goes, "Oh, the Baron!" Like this whole thing.
I'm feeling much better.
What about the Red Baron?
That was all hallucinations.
Like, not much more to say, but I do want to make sure I touch on, like, I think I said earlier, the music sucks. The music is like the same like couple of scores that get just like reused over again, and they're children's movie scores. Like,
Good. What about Dad? You believe I didn't kill Dad?
Yes, Jimmy, I do.
Like, even during things that are not like childish, which makes it so much funnier.
Yeah.
Because it's so outlandish.
There's an absurdity to that really does, and like it doesn't pay off on it for me as much because it's not so violent and horrible, right?
No, but
like,
it's violent enough where like there are people get shot and they don't just go like blood shows up on their they're dying.
It's not full like squibs and like RoboCop.
No, I think it's just like cut and
but there's
blood,
like red dots on
sure.
them, like and like holes in their in their shirts, like they were literally shot.
They were shot.
And as we've said many times, there's no like, oh, he's in the hospital and like, oh, the dad's in traction, the motherfucker's dead. It's over, and that's a lot.
He runs out of gas, and as he tows his plane to a gas station,
the Red Baron runs out of gas.
The Red Baron, and he steals the gas and then blows up the gas station and the attendant,
killing Dave Grohl, like unceremoniously.
Like these little things are so ridiculous because these are big like ticket items for a movie that has no business having any tickets at all.
None.
It's crazy. The guy that made this movie has directed just this.
Yeah.
And I think that you've said it before. When you make perfection, why would you make more?
It's a passion project.
I want him to make the sequel, and I want that to be the only thing he ever makes
and
again.
then die instantly. No, it's a passion project, right? When you make something like this, this was always the movie he wanted to make.
Please, I came to this country because I got tired of bargaining. I just want cash.
We don't have any money.
And then he finally got a chance to make. He could have made anything, but he made this.
Could have made anything. I believe he's an editor by trade. Is his
Sometimes
actual
that
thing.
happens, right?
Yeah.
Someone crosses over the, but like even that too, because like I like a story, so I always think he's editing. It's like these movies all suck. They're not real art. They're not good. I know
don't
the
even
movie
have
that would
a
be
German
good,
puppet.
right? What the fuck?
These fucking
This
idiots.
is horrible. I've got the idea. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be bigger than Mickey Mouse. The Red Baron's gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be toys.
It's gonna be bigger than Mickey Mouse. It's gonna be Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney.
Over!
Oh no. No, it's never over.
That's where he got it.
Twice the size of Mickey Mouse.
At least.
Fucking idiots.
I'm 93 years old. You hear that? What do you expect? Poetry from me? Huh?
That's pretty much everything that there is to talk about this movie, Revenge of the Red Baron. I really enjoyed it so much more than I had any right to enjoy it. Like, you look at this box, and you're like, okay, this is going to be a garbage kids movie. And I'm pretty sure, like, this is the first time I've watched the movie, but I think years ago I watched the trailer, and the trailer looked like a shitty kids movie, honestly. Yeah. But I saw it say horror, and I had a hope in my heart that it would end up honestly like this, where it would be like, that trailer was cut to sell to this market, and there's another trailer somewhere. Because, like, you look at this box, and it has that 90s thing where that's not Tobey Maguire on the cover, it's some random fucking kid, and I'm like, who's that to sell it to? Because when this came out, Tobey Maguire was nothing, and they're like, he's a little too old to really sell us to the kid market. We'll put a young fuck on the cover.
We gotta, and like be evocative of remote control here. We gotta do something like that. I don't know if that came out before or after.
92, I want to say, or 93. So it did.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
No, I would have liked the NC-17 cut of this.
Fuck yeah.
Not the PG-13.
I want the Tammy and the T-Rex go back to this one where there's guts and shit.
Figure it out. No, it's. I think watch it for science. It's definitely going to be difficult to get through, right?
I don't even think it's that difficult.
I'm kind of concerned about you.
I think because this, I expected so little. Yeah. And it gave me, like, this gives me vibes of like a Tammy and the T-Rex, a Ginger Dead Man, like, because it's such an outlandish in a way where I'm like, how did you pitch this?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Why did this get made?
That's what I mean.
Love it.
That's what I mean by the science. Is like there are certain people. Maybe you've seen those other films you're mentioning, and you've never heard of this. Mm-hmm. So like it's in there with those.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think for a normal person, you'd be like, what the fuck am I watching?
Well, if I was going to sell it to a normal person, I'd be like, oh, you want to see this movie with Tobey Maguire?
Right.
And they're like, I love Tobey Maguire. He only does good movies.
Like it's one of his first movies. Looks the same. It's crazy.
Oh, it's got Mickey Rooney too, and there'd be some young person who'd never heard of Mickey, and they'd be like, I've heard that name. I don't know who that is.
I was just gonna say everyone's heard the name, though.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I didn't recognize him visually, but once I saw the name, I'm like, oh, that lends credibility to this project for some reason. Did you find the budget? I didn't see the budget anywhere.
Oh, I did not see the budget.
Okay, so I don't know how much.
I think I looked too. I didn't see anything.
I tried to find it because we have to adjust for the time period, but it seems like there's a lot of money involved. Like you said, cars flipping and shit catching on fire.
I have a mixed feeling on this because knowing it's a first-time director, that knocks the budget down. And
he had
like,
friends though in the industry.
It's 90s, so like that also makes me like I can lower the budget from our normal scale. Yeah. I want to say this thing probably had like $1 million or less. Like 500,000 to $1 million is probably the.
But they made it like a real ass
They've
movie.
made a lot of things happen in that.
It's a movie, which is the most insane part of it.
Definitely check this shit out. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Experts say 10% of kids today have a button loose.
Cannibal Video has everything you